Alright guys, welcome back for another video. We got 10 greatest signature moves in NBA history. Now, we already see the two of the greatest right here, Jordan and Kobe. Of course, they're going to be on here. You probably have Iverson on here, his crossover. See Tim Hardaway's crossover. Dirk Nowitzki's fadeaway. Who else? If they don't have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook, I'm done with the video. I'm done. But, yeah, let's just get right to the video, man.
Great NBA players often develop a go-to move, something that gives them an advantage, and that's hard to defend. Some moves, however, are more recognizable than others
gotta hit a Euro.
because they look different. They're super effective. Players use them often.
Tim Duncan up the backboard shot.
Just missed the cut with his finger roll. We chose these top 10 signature moves in basketball history.
Shout out to Non-Stop
Kareem
Sports.
Abdul-Jabbar, skyhook.
Of course.
You're the tallest person on the court with the longest wingspan, and you can release the ball from your hand at the highest point. You get a shot that can hardly ever be blocked. Many have tried, and many have failed. Only Wilt Chamberlain managed to block it on 2 occasions, but Kareem's skyhook was largely unguardable. There was just no point in trying to stop
Wilt had to create
you can only try
though.
to stand as close to the guy and hope he misses. He didn't miss much. Kareem's skyhook was so effective that it earned the unofficial title of the most unguardable move in NBA history.
Wow.
And the numbers back it up, because Kareem has scored more points in the NBA than anyone, ever. And the vast majority of them came via his patented signature move. Kareem says he developed the shot because he often played with older competition as a kid, and that was the only shot he could shoot that didn't get smashed back in his face. Once he grew the way he did, it was over. When great skills meet excellent physical tools, that's when you get dominance. And that's precisely what Kareem did on all
He was shooting like 10 feet
He was
from
the
the
most
bucket.
dominant high school and college player ever, winning 4 high school state championships and 3 NCAA titles with UCLA. To that, he added 6 NBA rings, along with 6 MVPs. That's quite a resume, and the skyhook is the main reason for it. Hakeem Olajuwon, Dream Shake. Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the best players of his generation and one of the greatest centers of all time. He was extremely nimble and graceful with his movement, and was the only center that could continuously pull off the moves that were usually reserved for guards.
He was quick as
Crossovers
hell.
and pull-up jumpers were regularly on the menu in Olajuwon's basketball kitchen. But it was one move that he perfected and made famous that was deadliest of all: the Dream Shake. Dream Shake consists of pivoting to one side and then quickly counter-pivoting to the other to shake off your opponent and have a free look at the basket. However, that's easier said than done, and nobody did it like Hakeem, aka the Dream. Yes, the move was so good that his creator got nicknamed after it. Hakeem is known to hold basketball camps where he teaches the Dream Shake and other post moves to current players, most notably LeBron James and Dwight Howard. Michael Jordan.
He might train LeBron to do those moves, but LeBron don't post up a whole lot. He really don't. He should, big as he is, but hey.
And Kobe Bryant, the fadeaway. Just like Kareem used his height and length to create an unstoppable move, Michael used his unmatched leaping ability and superb footwork to create one of his own. The move was the fadeaway, and it drove defenders crazy and led them to despair.
Yeah, that fadeaway was
It was hard
stupid
to guard Michael anyway, but just when a defender thought he had done a great job and cut all of his lanes, Jordan would simply jump backwards to create space and shoot after the defender fell down. And when your nickname is Air Jordan, that would happen every single time. While Jordan was tormenting the entire league, there was another 6'6" shooting guard who watched him and tried to make his technique as flawless as
Kobe
Kobe Bryant was often called the second coming of Michael Jordan because of the obvious similarities between them. They played the same position, had similar size and killer mentality, and their moves, including the fadeaway, were almost identical.
Because Kobe got it from MJ, of course.
Black Tornado, Shaquille O'Neal.
The
question of who's the most dominant brute force that ever stepped on the NBA court, there could only be one answer: the Diesel, Superman, the Big Aristotle. Okay, those are several names, but they are all nicknames of one man: Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq came to the NBA weighing less than 300 pounds and was successful even then. But in his prime, he was around 350 of pure muscle, a vicious force that would dunk anything thrown his way. But there were other heavy centers in the league who weren't even effective, let alone dominant. What set
Yeah, Oliver
Shaq
Miller.
apart was his agility and quickness. And in his prime, he was the best player in the league. Shaq's favorite move was to post up and lean on a defender with all his
Black
mass.
Tornado.
And then, as the defender was using all his strength and focus just to stay in place, Shaq would spin off of him and dunk the ball. He named this move the Black Tornado because he would spin around so fast with great power, and it was deadly for the opponents. Shaq was a skilled post player, and as we said before, great skill and great physical gifts equal domination. And Shaq was arguably the most dominant player ever. Euro step. Manu Ginobili.
Yeah, of course they gotta be on there.
Some basketball moves already exist, but then certain players make them famous. That was the case with Manu Ginobili.
In case you guys didn't know, the Euro step is one of my favorite moves to watch and to do. Mainly on fast break, something like that. But it's real effective, so if you guys don't know how to do it, just check it out and try it.
Ginobili and the Euro step. Euro step was a move frequently used in, you guessed it, Europe, mainly in former Yugoslavia. It was first seen in the NBA in the early 90s, when one of the first European newcomers, Lithuanian Šarūnas Marčiulionis, started using
he was
it.
cold.
The man who came from Europe in the early 2000s. He dazzled with his flair, no-look passes, and deceptive athleticism. But it was the Euro step that took the league by storm, because Manu would burn defender after defender by simply stepping around them and make one uncontested layup after another. That's when the move got dubbed the Euro step.
He had some posters back in his day too.
Was from Argentina. After Manu, there have been many successful Euro step practitioners and aficionados in the NBA, with James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo at the forefront. Crossover. Tim Hardaway and Allen Iverson.
Yes, sir.
Crossover is a move that every guard in the world uses. From the first time they start playing organized basketball, it's a fundamental move, yet so effective. And that's why every young player wants to have it in their arsenal. And even though everyone has a crossover, the move is usually tied up to two people whose crossovers were so deadly that it became their signature move.
Twice.
Tim Hardaway and Allen Iverson. Despite the move was the same, these two players have done it differently. Hardaway's was tighter, and he went into the move more quickly than Iverson. Iverson, on the other hand...
I remember when, before I got into Allen Iverson, pause, I used to watch Tim Hardaway and do his crossover between the leg, bing, bing, like that. Then when I see Iverson, he had the wide crossover. So I started doing that, so kind of mix it up a little bit.
Made his crossover wider. He had a long wingspan, and he would move the ball from one stretched arm to the other to lull the defender. Best seen on the famous Jordan crossover. Despite the differences in styles, results were usually the same, with defenders stuck, or even worse, with broken ankles.
On the floor.
Single-legged fadeaway. Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk's single-legged fadeaway was unstoppable, especially in his prime. Dirk is a
7 foot tall. Here comes the ad, guys, so hold on. We're back.
However, he was also one of the least athletic players, and he wouldn't be as effective if he hadn't trained with Holger Geschwindner, a German coach who trained him throughout his career and who taught him his signature move. Because he lacked athleticism, he couldn't jump backward and shoot a fadeaway like Kobe and MJ did. Instead, Dirk simply leaned away and used his height to shoot over the defender, with his pivot legs serving for balance and the separation he needed to take the shot off. That signature move single-handedly, or single-leggedly, helped Dirk to become one of the best scorers in the history of the game, with over 30,000 points. Unlike some other players on this list who just made standard moves famous, single-legged fadeaway was never seen before Dirk, and never successfully replicated after it, which makes it even more unique. Deep 3. Steph Curry. Steph Curry, along with his splash brother Klay Thompson,
he's not the only one.
He got Damian Lillard. Basketball forever. Before them, it was widely considered that jump shooting teams couldn't win championships, with Charles Barkley as a spiritual leader of that school of thought. But then Steph Curry and the Warriors won the title in 2015, with Steph and Klay averaging more than 15 attempts from deep combined. Steph in particular was an unsolvable mystery for opposing
that dude was shooting from anywhere.
He would often attempt and make deep threes from 30 feet or more, well behind the three-point line. His long-range shooting prowess forced defenses to pick him up as soon as he passed half court, and his constant movement created more space for the rest of the team. It was the birth of the pace and space era in the NBA. and it all started with Steph and his signature shots from deep. Bank shot. Tim Duncan.
Because on the Wii, the bank shot never works.
Yeah, well, you should return it and get a Wii fund.
Just like Kevin James scientifically explained, Tim Duncan was the master of the bank shot. Duncan was one of the NBA's most quiet and unassuming superstars. He was nicknamed the Big Fundamental because he did everything fundamentally sound, and he wouldn't do and say anything too flashy. While the bank shot was rarely used by anyone else, Tim Duncan perfected it because it provided an extra angle he could use when the defender had a hand in his face, trying to block Timmy from shooting straight to the basket. So, Duncan just shot
Duncan, he was
slightly
tough.
to the left or right and used the glass to bounce the ball to the hoop. The shot itself isn't sexy, it's not that cool, and often looks awkward, which was the essence of Tim Duncan himself.
Hey, it don't matter.
That's what made it a perfect
It can look
match.
awkward, whatever. Hey, as long as it go in.
James Harden. We saved the most controversial move on the list for last. James Harden's step back caused a lot of stir in the NBA circles when the Beards started using it frequently. How is that not a travel, everyone asked.
He used it like
James Harden made a career
10
of
times a
exploiting
game.
the rules and pushing the boundaries of basketball
Hey!
trickery. When he drives to the basket, he often tangles his arms with the defenders
That
to
look
draw a
kinda
foul.
like a travel.
He flails, baits, and throws his body to make and-one opportunities. And he created one of the most unguardable moves in modern basketball, the step back.
His step back
Harden's
is
step
crazy,
back
I ain't gonna
looks
lie.
like he stepped back twice, but according to the rule book, it's not a travel because he catches the ball after the first step back. So the second step is legal. It's incredibly tough to pull off, but Harden can do it consistently and create separation from a defender anytime he wants. You may not like it, but you have to accept James's brilliance. His scoring numbers speak for themselves anyway.
Well, there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think about the video. What was your favorite greatest signature move? Mine, of course, is the crossover and the Euro step. I like to step back. I don't do it that much when I play ball myself, but I mainly like to use the crossover and the Euro step. Fadeaway, and sometimes mainly in the post, something like that. But I wish I could do. I know I could do some of the Hakeem Olajuwon moves, but not as crisp as him. Dude was crazy back in the day. But thanks for watching, y'all. Subscribe if you're new, and leave a like, man. Help my channel out, man. My nose stopped the way I sound like this. Sinus infection again, but it is what it is. I put these videos out for you guys. But till next time, your boy King Smooth. I'm out.